Okay. All right. So, as I said, this is the advice that I definitely want to give to teenagers of borderline mothers. And some of this advice is stuff that I've looked back on now and went, gosh, I wish I had done this when I was, a teenager, and stuff. So, and some of it I did do, and it was incredibly helpful. So, all right. Um, So be around normal mothers as much as possible. That's huge. I mean, I think that a lot of times what happens is you don't know a lot of times the difference, of course, between a borderline mother and a normal mother. Like you can't, like you grew up the way you grew up, and stuff. And you're still in it, and you're in it for a few more years even. And so anyway, so be around normal mothers as much as possible. Mothers who listen to their kids, mothers who care about their kids, mothers who make their kids feel good about themselves. Those are the kinds of mothers you need to be around as much as possible. The reason why is because they will help you see how your mother really does different is different, and how really your mother's emotional illness affects her, and how it limits her from being a mother in many ways. And also too, if you are around normal mothers, and you're and if you find one who like is really safe for you to share your story with and say like, this is my situation with my mom, you know mothers oftentimes will then take you in and let you be like, a part of the family. Yeah, I've been blessed with that myself. I've got, you know um I would say easily at least two women in my life who are like my mothers. And they tell me that they're proud of me. And I even have a dad, which is really great. um and they're the ones who I go to. I go to one for Thanksgiving and go to the other one for Christmas, and stuff like that, because in my situation I can't spend time with my family. But and so that's absolutely incredibly important and stuff like that, because also too, here's the thing is that, like, you've already been learning some bad habits from your mom that will affect you, like, when you become a mother yourself someday. So the more that you're around normal mothers, the more you'll learn, like, I want to be like that. Like, I want to interact with my kids that way. I want to be that kind of mom. I don't want to be like my mom, and that's really important. Um, Try to start accepting and forgiving your mom now, and see that, like, she's got a condition, and whether she's going to choose to get it treated or not, that is her responsibility. But if you can learn to accept and forgive her, what that does for you is what's most important. What it does for you is it frees you to be able to move your life forward. I don't think that forgiveness is ever about, like, helping that person feel better, that you let them off the hook. That's not the point. I really feel like that the point of forgiveness is to help you free yourself up, because she's going to do what she's going to do. You know that. But you have to be able to move forward, and accepting and forgiving her is one of the biggest things that you can do to start, moving through this in as healthy of a way as possible. The other thing too is that you have to start learning the whole concept of loving yourself. That is a foreign concept probably in your family, and that's understandable. But as much as you spend time, like, studying up on borderline and what's wrong with my mom, try to spend as much time studying up on how to love yourself, and how to take care of yourself, and how to have more value for yourself, because you have to be able you have to we all have to develop that when we're children of borderlines, we all have to develop that sense of value that we're not getting from our moms, or our family either. Because remember, this a borderline doesn't just affect your mom, it affects your whole family. Like how like your dad reacts, how your grandparents react, how your siblings react. Everyone's affected by this. And so, and some of them are handling it in really unhealthy ways, and others will handle it in good ways. But you have to, start then. But if you're the only one who starts learning this concept of loving yourself, that's okay. Because but that's necessary, because that's something that a healthy parent is supposed to teach you, and your mom isn't doing that right now. So, all right. Get into positive activities. This is huge. I know for me, what I did when I was your age was I got into a couple of things. One is I got into like marching band, I got into arts, I got into theater, I got into dance. And those are really, really, really great and really, really helpful. And then I also too got into like a religious group. I was in an evangelical Christian community and stuff like that. And it was interesting because even though my mom was a Christian too, like she would chew me out for going to youth group. It was interesting. And stuff, and or that I went too much, and so here's the thing, like, because you're a teenager, you're gonna start like you are starting to figure yourself out. You're trying things out. You're going like, yeah, what's this? Ooh, I like this part of me. I want to go do this or that, and stuff like that. And it's really, really normal for your mom to find that threatening, like, because you're being just a normal teenager, and so it's really, really okay. So when it comes to like getting involved in positive activities, don't let your mom's complaints hold you back. If you want to go do something, unless go do it, and let her complain. But that's not has nothing to do with you, it has everything to do with her. And the reason why is because she she is starting to feel that you are starting to become an adult. Like you're in the early stages of becoming an adult. And so for her, that's threatening, because she wants you to stay the kid. She wants you to stay in her life. And when you start to do the normal thing that every teenager is supposed to do, which you just start to figure yourself out, start becoming a little bit more independent, start trying out new things and be new things. Your mom is going to feel a little threatened by that, and that's normal, and that's okay. And it's really okay for her. It's going to be normal for her to complain. It's going to be normal for her to even attack you or criticize you. I mean, I remember like my mom, you know, she she didn't like it. She really didn't. She didn't like, well, she didn't like anything I did really. Like she didn't like that I chose to go to college out of state. She didn't like that, I decided to go into nonprofit, as my choice of my degree. Like she didn't like anything I did really, because it was always what made her, because she always thought that I was pulling away from her on purpose or punishing her. And it's like, no, I'm just being a teenager. I'm just figuring my life out, So just know that that's a normal struggle that you're going to have with your mom. And, but even if she complains, keep going. Keep doing the things that you love. Keep doing the things that you need to. That's really positive and really makes you feel good about yourself. You know. So also, um, you need to also let other people um, parent you as well. Because let's say instead of, because I think a lot of times when you're a teenager and you've got a borderline mom, you kind of do either one or two things. You either become it's either easier to become too responsible for yourself, where you are already like a mini adult and like you're like, oh, I can't be a teenager, or it's the opposite and you kind of let go wild, and go, well, screw all of this, like I'm gonna numb myself out and be ridiculous and be really irresponsible and get into negative stuff that's actually harming me. um I think those are two very normal reactions. So so for those of you who are trying to get too responsible, be a teen. Let yourself be a teenager at times, in a healthy, positive way. But if you are being too crazy, too wild, where you're kind of putting yourself in dangerous situations, or you're doing stuff that you go home at night, you're like, ugh, that didn't really feel actually that great. What you need then is a you need to let adults parent you. You need to let some people that you feel like are safe into your life to like help you out, and so find those people. Talk about your life with them, try to do things to like spend time with them and let them care about you and let them be there for you, because your mom can't right now, and you have to let people like that be there for you. So anyway, yeah. Because you need someone who's going to help you learn how to how to you need someone to let help you be responsible for yourself. So all right. Um, and a couple last things. One is, tell someone if your mom is hurting you, or you feel like you're hurting yourself, or you feel like hurting yourself, or you feel like hurting her. um, those are normal feelings that come up, and that's when you definitely need to get help. That's when you need to tell someone. Something I regret is that I didn't talk to a school counselor about the fact that I was suicidal when I was in high school. I talked to my mom, and my mom didn't know how to handle that. Of course, like, she had no idea. I even went to my parents when I was like 17 and asked them if I could go to therapy, and they said no. Like they, so when if you start feeling unsafe, whether it's because of your mom or whether it's because of yourself, or you feel like you're gonna hurt her or something like that, you need to tell somebody outside of your parents. You need to tell somebody so that they will help you through it, because you are not supposed to carry those kinds of feelings alone. You're a teenager. You're not supposed to be carrying that kind of stuff alone. And there are adults out there, and there are people out there who will care about you, who will help you through those. You just have to find them. And when you do, stick with them and keep building a relationship with them, no matter like how difficult that can be sometimes. So and then the last thing, that I really want you to understand is, you will get through this season. Remember, this is just a season. You're only a teenager for a few years. You know, um, so I think something that's really, really helpful is to think about your life after you turn 18, and think about what kind of a life do you want to have, and think about the goals that you have, the goals that you want to do, the things you want to try, the adventures you want to have, and think about those things, and focus in on how in just a few years you're going to get to that place. Like, you're going to get to a point where you will not be under your mother's control anymore. You will not be stuck or trapped, as I know a lot of us feel, like in that situation anymore. So be sure that you focus in on what life is going to be like when you turn 18, and that you see that what's going on with you right now, I know, as horrible and heartbreaking as it can be, these are like some of the most amazing lessons that you learn to be strong and to be um, able to withstand really difficult moments in life. Because when you become an adult, you're going to face them, you're going to face more difficult moments and more tough seasons. And that's just part of being an adult, And so this is an opportunity for you to develop that kind of strength and maturity and wisdom now that will really carry you through those really difficult times when you're older too, and stuff like that, that come from financial crisis or come from a breakup with a boyfriend or girlfriend, things like that. So anyway, yeah, so please share. Feel free to email me or message me. I'm more than happy to be able to be um, someone for you, but also to adults, because I know you're probably watching this too. Please share your own thoughts of wisdom about what teenagers now should know about what it's like to get through this time, and even feel free to share your own stories too of how you dealt with it. So good luck.